Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Again, my name is Myron Hughes. It's MYRONHUGHES. And I'm one of the public information officers for the Tennessee All Hazards Incident Management Team. Before we get started this morning, Incident Commander Jimmy Irwin had a few things he wanted to say.
Good morning. My name is Jimmy Irwin, EMA Director for Unicoi County. This morning, day 4 of our operations, we've had over 100 responders, emergency responders respond today to help. Arrived to assist in search operations. We are very thankful for the great magnitude of help, donation, and prayers for our community and our emergency responders. The emergency responders today are going to be in the flooded areas and on the highways around the flooded areas, from exit 37 to Flag Pond to state lines. We ask that the community, we know they want to get out and check on their loved ones, that's great, but the main highways are getting really blocked up with people sightseeing, so we ask the people to stay out of the flooded areas and the emergency scenes where the emergency responders are today, unless they just have to travel. That's for their own safety and for the safety of the responders. Again, we have over 100 responders today in the flooded area, searching, going through debris, and working very diligently. At this time, we'll turn it over to Myron Hughes, the Public Information Officer, who has been great in helping Unicoi County deal with the situation and coordinate and communicate with you, the news media. Thank you.
Joining us again this morning, starting behind me on my left, we have Ms. Renee Jones, the State Representative-elect for the 4th House District, Mr. Glenn White, the Town of Irwin Mayor, Mr. John English, the Director of Unicoi County Schools, Ms. Christy Tipton with the Tennessee Crisis Mental Health Strike Team, and of course Mr. Jimmy Irwin, our Incident Commander. As Incident Commander Irwin mentioned, this morning we're continuing with search and debris clearing operations. We're beginning to move from a transition from rescue to recovery. And when I say recovery, I mean that the river has returned to close to its normal level before the flooding began. And of course, search and damage assessments are ongoing, and we're beginning to be able to start to put the pieces back together. The latest numbers on missing persons can be found on TEMA's website. That's www.tn.gov/TEMA. Once you get on that page, if you'll scroll down to the news and events section, you will find a section that includes some flash reports. The flash reports will include those numbers as well as information on the current situation, power outages and utilities, and what all the specific state departments are doing to assist in operations. We are overwhelmed by the number of volunteers in our volunteer state that want to help us. We, quite frankly, cannot keep up with the calls that are coming in with the line that we have established. We are working to get a hotline set up so that people are able to get through and share that information so that they can volunteer. In the meantime, we are requesting that you send a private message to the Unicoi County EMA page or send us an email at uctnema@gmail.com so we make sure we have that down somewhere documented that we can keep up with and get back to you and make sure that we don't miss anybody, that we, again, are so grateful for the volunteers that want to help. For those that are in a position to start with cleaning up debris in their home, a hotline has been established to help with that. The phone number is 844-965-1386. Again, that's 844-965-1386. Those services are free of charge, but that hotline is for cleanup only. For things like food and shelter, we're asking people to still please continue to use the sites we have set up. That would be the Southside Free Will Baptist Church at 1313 Chestoa Pike, the Temple Hill Elementary School at 797 Old Highway Road, and the Flag Pond School at 917 Old Asheville Highway. We are going to continue updating specific needs that we need on the Unicoi County EMA page for people that want to bring donations. Right now, the biggest thing we need is non-perishable food. I've heard from the donation site that we don't have enough non-perishable food for the next 48 hours. Again, the donation site is the Evergreen Free Will Baptist Church, which is 910 Hoback Street in Irwin, and they're going to be open from 9 to 3 every day. Counseling services and mental health assistance continue to be available. The hotline to call for that is 855-274-7171, or if you would prefer to text, you can text TN to 741-741, or you can call the National Suicide Hotline at 988. That is all the new information that we have to present right now. We will be back, of course, this evening for a briefing at 5 o'clock, and we do have about 10 minutes for questions at this time.
Can you tell us any more information about the unaccounted for folks, or these folks from the hospital, the plastics plant, folks down in homes in Flag Pond? What sorts of...
I don't have specifics on that, and so all of that information, like I said, is being collected by TBI and TEMA. People can call 1-800-TBI-FIND to give information or ask about specific information for their loved ones. But as far as specifically where people are missing from, I don't have access to that information.
Can you confirm that 4 bodies were found yesterday?
I cannot confirm that. The only information we have, so the Tennessee Department of Health, again, does all of the confirmation of deaths that are specifically weather related. There's a very detailed process that the Department of Health goes through. They work with the William Jenkins Forensic Center, and the last number that I received yesterday is that there are 2 deaths that we can confirm that were weather related, one in Unicoi and one in Johnson County. That's the last information that I have.
Are there city and county liaisons who are in touch with people who are still looking for missing loved ones?
Yes.
Who are those? I guess individuals, or which agencies are handling those communications?
So the Irwin Police Department is handling some of it. The Unicoi Sheriff's Department is handling some of it, and there's a lot of other. Basically, anyone that comes to any of us that are working here and lets us know, we funnel it to where it needs to go.
What is your gut feeling about so many that are missing? Do you think it's a lack of communication, or do you think we're going to find more deceased?
My job is to present the facts, and that is all that I have to present at this time. I don't work in gut feelings.
And do you feel that authorities are communicating with families appropriately? We've been told that families with missing loved ones aren't being told.
Communication is always an issue in any kind of emergency situation, starting even just with the fact that we've had cell phone signal issues, especially the first day when one of the towers in Carter County went out. There was a good portion of the county that there was just no service. And so we have reached out to our non-governmental partners, and they're working on trying to increase the service that we have. If I stand here at the podium, I might have cell phone service, and if I walk 10 feet that way, I might not. So that's obviously a huge problem that we're trying to overcome. We're trying to come up with all kinds of different ways that people can get in touch with us and make sure we can get back in touch with them. But the sheer amount of work that we have to have ongoing, plus trying to process all that new information that's coming in and going back and updating people, we are doing the absolute best that we can.
Do you have a number of people that are still without power, or?
That would be a utilities question, and they are not here with us. I can get that information, and I will share that to our account or the new EMA page as soon as we have it.
Has every part of the county been reached at some point to at least start checking? Or are there any parts of the county that are completely inaccessible?
I think that's a question for you, Jimmy.
We did rapid areas that the roads were shut off, like Spivey Mountain area. The road is totally gone and only accessible by 4-wheeler. We've had initial crews go in and see if there was any total devastation of houses and stuff and make contact. Today we have a full task force going back in that's going to take supplies back to Tumbling Creek, Bald Creek, the head of Spivey. And along with going in, they're going to give them a flyer so that they'll know where to come, because up there they have no cell phone, they have no TV, they have no power. So they will have information that they need. The other Flag Pond areas that affected, we went to those yesterday. There's probably still a few roads that we haven't made. Our command and operations are working on that. And we have operations and people going out today. By the end of the day, we should have all of Unicoi County that has been affected covered and checked.
How are your folks doing? I know we reported that a K-9 officer has been lost. I know people with the Sheriff's Department have lost houses.
The Irwin Police Department did lose a canine. That has affected them greatly. He was a great dog, great handler that had him. That has affected them. We have worked with counseling, we've worked with them and trying to take care of them. They're resilient. The one who lost his house, he worked 24 hours, come in and worked. Done great. But we're trying to give them time off. The extra law enforcement that's come in from, I won't even start to name them, coming in, we're trying to give the local law enforcement and emergency services just a few hours to go home, check on their families and take a break. So we're looking after them too and trying to take care of our own.
You mentioned that there were people in separate parts of the county that were cut off, and you gave them sort of flyers that said what services.
We're working on that today.
How are they going to get from where they're cut off to?
Some of the areas the road is not cut off. They just don't have cell service or have power to watch local media. And the ones that are cut off in the areas, today we're taking supplies to that area.
Given the reports of the 4 bodies found that you're unable to confirm, but their families here hearing those rumors and concerned, how long are they going to have to wait for updates or information?
I have to get confirmation from the Tennessee State Department of Health before I can confirm anything.
How long do you anticipate that taking?
So I don't know. Given the amount of work that the Tennessee Department of Health normally has, as well as working with the Forensic Center, it could be 48 hours, it could be longer. They want to make sure that when they are identifying anyone that comes in, that we know that families want answers and are hurting, but we want to make sure that we are giving them the right answers instead of giving out something incorrectly and then we cause more heartache and pain that later it turns out wasn't the case. So we want to make sure that we do it right the first time, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer.
Myron, I know you need to want to be careful for some of the families that are trying to confirm if their loved ones are dead or not. They said that they have information that could be useful to investigators, describing their family members, what they were wearing. And they said that they don't really have a clear line of communication to share that with investigators. So can you give us a little more info on what that confirmation process looks like with the Tennessee Health Department, so we have a better understanding of what they're doing on their end as they try and confirm bodies as they come in?
I do not have access to that information, but I will get with them and get an answer for you.
Do you have I know this is a huge undertaking, do you have an idea of the magnitude of how long this is going to be going on, the searching for people, and, the recovery from this, the media stuff you're doing now? Is this weeks, a month?
The simple answer as far as how long we're going to be searching is we're going to search until we're done. The people that live in and love this community, we owe it to them, we owe it to everyone to make sure that we turn over every stone. And again, that's going to take time. I would like to give you a timeline on that. I don't have one. I don't want to say we're going to be done by Friday, and if we end up before that, then it feels like we haven't searched enough. I don't want to say we're going to be done by Friday and then it takes longer and then now we're being inefficient with our resources. So the time it's going to take is the time it's going to take. As far as recovery goes, we do have debris experts here with the state. We do have finance people here from the state that are helping us to collect as much information as we can to figure out what's lost, what it's going to take to put it back. And in the recovery process, we have that ball in motion to try to get all that stuff sorted out.
When you say this is switched from a rescue to a recovery mission, what do you mean by that? Because in my head that suggests that...
Like I said, when we say recovery, we're talking about Now that the river has returned to the level it was before we began, we're continuing damage assessment operations. We're helping, later today, we're going to have some posts that we put on Facebook about how we can help with debris removal. The hotline for the debris removal, again, is 844-965-1386. We mean recovery as in starting to return and trying to return back to what we were before all this started.
We have a question over here.
Okay.
¿Puede decirme por qué tarda tanto la ayuda si ellos se comunicaron al 911? La última comunicación que tuve con mi esposa me dijo que que les dijeron que ya sabían que estaban ahí. No entiendo por qué se andaban ya los helicópteros de rescate. No, ellos eran 5 personas sobre un vagón de una trailer. No entiendo. Mi esposa, la última comunicación que tuve me dijo que primero eran los hospitales. Yo sé que es importante tanto doctores, enfermeros, pacientes, pero ellos estaban sobre un vagón, una traila, una plataforma. No entiendo, eran 6 personas.
He wants to know why, I'm gonna translate that what he said. So I want to know why the help didn't come to rescue, the people that were there, his wife included. There was 5 people on top of a trailer, calling 911, calling for help, calling their loved ones. And the 911 was telling them that the people at the hospital, everybody was over there. He understands that the doctors, the nurses, the patients there at the hospital were important, but the 5 people that were on top of a trailer trying to survive were also important.
So
He wants to know why the rescue was not
so we're talking about Friday?
Friday.
Okay, so on Friday, when everything was initially happening, the only resources that were available immediately were the resources that were already here in the county. And the calls for the hospital, I believe, came in first. Those crews were dedicated to that. And they sent out a call to ask for help, but it took time to get those people that were helping to come. 911 was inundated with calls, and when all that help was requested, I was not here for that. I think Jimmy can speak a little bit to it maybe, but the specific process as far as who goes where was initially handled by 911 before all of the extra resources came and we were able to get them rolled into command. But Jimmy.
Friday morning when the flood started, I was at the hospital. We were doing an evacuation when the hospital got inundated with water, and we had to rescue the patients there and the staff. At that same time, all the emergency services in Unicoi County were activated. There were rescues in Temple Hill area. There was a rescue team at the industrial park that saved 4 people. They could not get further down because the water was already so high and the resources was limited at that time. I do know that our rescue team did save 4 by throwing rope bags and saving them in the industrial park. When a disaster like this happens, we can't predict it. We prepare and we prepare and prepare, and our great emergency services here in the county were maxed. They used everything they had to save life that day. Some were saved. We're still searching for some. We all have hopes that we will find some more alive. Our hearts are deep, and we are here to stay with the family, and we're going to try to work with you and communicate best we can to try to keep you up to date on what's going on. If a body is found, it is taken to the William J. Jenkins Forensic Center, and our investigators with law enforcement and them are working to do identity, and they're the ones who will make the positive ID and notify the families. We've given them all the information that we've received from the families that have people lost. They have it, our investigators have it, and they are working on that 24 hours a day. And we hope that today, tomorrow, within a very short time, the families, if a victim has been found, the families will be notified. But we are working very diligently on that to make it happen.
We've got time for just one more question.
Are there Spanish language services available in the county and, at the state level for folks, like we were seeing in this community,
Right.
there's a need for that for communication? Is that available?
Yes, so if anybody calls the missing person line, 1-800-TBI find. There is a Spanish translator there. There also has been one here on site at the shelter as well. Like I said, that's all the time we have for questions. As soon as I have answers to those that I couldn't, I will post the answers to those on our Facebook page. And we will be back here, like I said, at 5 this evening for another briefing. Thank you.